Talk about eat your veggies. Little wonder these guys look so healthy. There's no lacking the 5+ a day diet here.
That's really why we dance. We dance a lot so we can eat more.
I haven't seen anyone here, you know, with the New Zealand weight problem.
No, it's amazing, isn't it?
50% of Kiwis. And I guess since they don't eat meat, Hari Krishnas are the masters of making the most out of everything else.
We make over about 200 or 300 preparations just from milk alone. Just from milk. Hundreds of sweets and the curd like you had last night. Yep. And yeah, we worship the products from the cow. We accept the cow as like our mother.
So naturally, I thought it would be polite to head down to the farm operation to meet Mum.
Give him a scratch between the horns now.
Half the spinach. Does he like that, does he?
It's the opportune moment to be able to do it because he's pacified.
Look at the size of the big fella. These cows clearly have to be amongst the happiest cows in the world. There's no fear of heading off to the abattoir for this lot. They spend their whole time with their head down just eating, don't they?
And but also
similar to you lot, really. I mean,
we spend a lot of time eating the good food.
Eating good food, eh?
But also, many things are considered sacred in the cow. Like obviously, we can make many products out of the cow after it's passed away naturally with the skin of the cow. Oh, right. After it's passed away naturally. But also, the urine of the cow and the stool of the cow are considered antiseptic.
Whilst I ponder the miracle of cow 1s and 2s, I get introduced to the Hari Krishna work ethic. And it's not all fun and games, no leaping about and chanting for these guys. They actually work damn hard to keep this operation ticking over. It's not quite the layabout lifestyle I was expecting. People at home are going to say, you know, you're a young guy in the prime of your life. What's in it in turning down all of these, the 4 principles of temptations? You know, having a few beers with your mates, a bit of red meat, maybe, you know, meeting a nice girl here and there.
There may be many things that we're attracted to in this world, but ultimately the purity is missing. So the real happiness that we're all hankering for, is missing. Yeah. That's why everyone's going from one thing to the next to the next. It's not one girlfriend, it's 2 girlfriends, 3 girlfriends, like that. So purity means that you're able to sustain what you're given. God's giving naturally, and whatever he's giving, if we can be satisfied with that, then we can become happy.
I quite like that way of thinking. Making the most about what God gives you, not being too worried about what's being created artificially. The quest for purity at Riverhead is pretty strong. Were you always quizzical in terms of spirituality?
I was always interested in living a pure life.
Did you always live a pure life?
No. I found myself in the midst of living in a very impure way. Yeah. So, but always hankering for the pure life.
Everyone I've spoken to out here seem really educated and really open and really quizzical. And so it seems to me that you've arrived at this decision not by being pushed into it, but by your own inquisition and your own inquiry and your own desire to ask those questions, you know?
Yeah.
It's nice to be out of the confines of Riverhead, to be able to cruise the streets and take a bit of time out. It's also a good opportunity to see how people react to a Hari Krishna in a valiant. Hari Krishna. I think on the whole, the Hari Krishnas get quite a good reception from the general public. I mean, I've pulled up beside a few cars and they've all sort of smiled and waved, and you get the odd one that sort of takes a double take and then starts laughing and pointing, but I guess that's to be expected. But the reason they get a good reception, it's all to do with karma, mate. They put out a good vibe and they're positive people and they're happy and outgoing, and, you know, they're not about doing anything that's harmful to the environment or people around them. So and so shall you reap. I think it's time for a little bit of a purity top-up. And one of the way the Haris find Krishna consciousness is through yoga.
Roll over the toes, point the feet, dog up. Rolling back over the toes, dog down.
How does yoga relate to the Krishna consciousness?
Do you have a car?
What's the right answer? I do.
You do, and do you look after your car?
Well, there's not many cars around that are 35 years old.
And still running.
And still running.
Right.
So I guess I do look after it.
I guess we look at it the same way. The soul, being the driver of this vehicle, is the most important part. But to get us to the destination, the end of life, we have to look after the vehicle. So, yoga is like that.
Okay, guys. Walking the feet forward. We're then going to lift them up off the ground. Very nice.
For some folk, yoga is the first encounter with the Hare Krishna movement. Another splendid way newcomers are introduced to the Hare Krishna way of thinking is through the regular Sunday night feast.
A definition of God, one who is in possession of all 6 opulences, which we'll look at.
With a little taste of what the movement's all about with your entree. And after the words of wisdom, everyone gets a chance to find pure enjoyment before take. Some of the things that are being discussed seem pretty far out for a, pragmatic, logical, black and white sort of bloke. But if you let your imagination go and you ponder the bigger picture, then I guess you can appreciate what they're saying. But it takes a bit of imagination. But as much as I'm enjoying my time with the Hare Krishna devotees, certain realities are starting to kick in. My spring's gone. I'm afraid I'm blowing a calf. I feel a bit like Karate Kid, mate.
Now it's the slow spiritual part.
It's fair to say I've tried hard to embrace the Hare Krishna way of life, and there are many things about it that I dig. It's just lacking a couple of vital ingredients that are quite important to me. Don't judge me, mate. I'm more a heathen than a Hare. My body is not a temple. I mean, this thing is not for everyone, don't get me wrong. There are going to be people who think, oh, it's a cult, but you can join it in many levels as long as you adopt some of the Krishna lifestyle. So you can be, there are doctors, accountants, lawyers, there's all sorts of people out there. They don't have to look like this, but they're low-key. They've got a lovely disposition. They're not hurting anyone, and they're very welcoming and very spiritual. And I think the key thing for me is they're educated, they're intelligent, so they're making an informed decision. And while I may have moved on from their words of wisdom, they'll stick in my sword forever. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Diplomatic Immunity is next, and tomorrow, unravel the mystery surrounding a psychopath and his legacy of terror. Real crime goes beyond the Darklands Australia. Tomorrow on TV1.